Well, hello everybody. Here I am out here in the field doing this removals. There's all sorts of cockspur and cat's claw up there, which is the same plant, different name. Lantana, you name it. These plants are substantial. They've been here a very long time. So we go through and we pull it all out, pile it up to be burnt at a later date. So the only thing is you're walking through some fairly substantial grass, and as many of you guys would know from having watched the films of Australia, we have some pretty deadly, pretty dangerous snakes. And it's one of those things as you go through these areas working on them that you worry quite a lot about standing on something. When you're pulling this sort of material out, you're disturbing a lot of things, a lot of logs. We saw a smaller red-bellied black snake in this area here, but here's a fairly small one. But I don't want to see any of these parrots or anybody else. We definitely don't want to see any big brown snakes. So it's a very scary thing for me. I never did like long grass. Don't enjoy this sort of stuff at all. Charlie's already been up here getting these clumps out of these places and working his way down. I'll give you a close look at what cockspur looks like. There's a fairly substantial plant here. You can see the thorns on it in this one, but he's had a bit of a hiding over time, so he's only pretty small. These orange roots, cat's claw, cockspur, whichever you prefer to call it, same animal, but it's a horrible, horrible bloody plant. So look at all the thorns on this guy here. So that's what he actually looks like. So where Lantana and this guy grow, there's nothing else useful can come of it. The stock can't get access to those areas, and this stuff just keeps getting bigger and bigger until it climbs the trees like that up there, and then it chokes and kills the trees. So that's what our job is to come in and get all this stuff out, so that then they can start running some cattle and making some money on their land. So it's a beautiful property. Just a shame that this rubbish is, on parts of it. But then having said that, it's not horrifically bad here. I see a lot worse properties than this. That the clean-up side of it is much bigger. So that's I hate walking through this grass. You got no idea what it feels like. You're constantly terrified that you're looking through it trying to see. There's Jolly down in there. You can hardly see him. I don't know whether you can see him. It's right in down there. It's great to be working with your son. He's a great guy. Just takes himself a little bit too seriously and gets defensive and upset, but that's a young thing. So look at the way this Lantana's choking this tree. You can see the way it climbs and climbs and climbs and keeps poisoning the ground around the tree with its leaves, and then eventually it kills the tree. Now these ones here that are dead because the owner was poisoning them. That's why they're dead. They're not dead for any other reason. But you can see it doesn't go very far and the poison stopped working and the vines continue on up into the tree. And you can see through these areas here, we go through and we rip this stuff out without destroying the ecology of the land, without removing the soil from those areas. But you can see over here what an unmolested section looks like. So that's how thick that stuff is there. And we'll rip all that out. So they just went along the easy stuff around the outsides and just realised that they were spending a fortune in poison. And honestly, they were getting nowhere. And they're getting closer and closer to the creek where you don't want to be putting poisons. And there's some steeper country up the top there that we've got to go and deal with. That's what we do, is steep country. So thanks for coming along for this little saute, little enjoyable job. This is what we enjoy doing. We enjoy murdering Lantana. So yeah, so far I haven't seen any snakes, and hopefully I won't. But you know, like I said before, the material that we're removing means that these snakes and everything else are getting hunted out of here. You look at this here, it's about 60-80 feet in this tree here, all of this vine work, and you look at the size of the trunks on these vines over at the base of these trees. That's the size of them there. So this guy here with the rippled skin, he's cockspur. Look at how tangled and big a mess he is. That stuff is that strong, you would not believe how strong that is. And there's another vine running up the tree there in that, choking this tree off. So it's just a disaster looking at all this terrible damage being done to the ecology. Wow, there's some mess in there, that's for sure. Okay, well, I'll leave it at that for now, because there's going to be a ton of filming over the week. This is a week-long job, so I'll be giving you a lot of footage. So anyway, I'm Gary, you know Jolie. Thanks for popping in, and thanks for spending the time. Say g'day and leave a comment. And this is our world, this is what we do. See, they poisoned the hell out of that at the base there, but up the top it's still growing. Sorry, you're probably in the sun, I'd say. But it's still growing all the way up there, even though they've poisoned the hell out of the base. But they're going to kill the tree trying to put that much poison on this weed. But anyway, we'll pull his legs out from underneath him and give him a hell of a hiding. Anyway, thanks for that, guys. Talk to you soon.